So yesterday I had another phone call with Kelly Barr. I had a long conversation with Kelly Barr on the phone, and it was very productive conversation as usual. Kelly Barr pointed out that it was during the time of Ramadan. Okay, so it was during the time of Ramadan. I had Kelly Barr on the phone earlier today for more than 3 hours, and we've been talking about a bunch of different things, but I was telling to her at some point in the conversation, you did condemn a lot my intention. Kelly Barr told me on the phone that the more I speak, the more you are angry. Kelly Barr told me on the phone that the more I speak, the more you are angry. I did not reject you because you came with Jesus. I rejected you once I knew and understood how your unclean thoughts toward me were overpowering your faith. Now you get to wait for it because Kelly Barr, I'm pretty sure that she's going to say something about that. Because on the phone, I didn't like it. I really didn't like it, but on the phone, Kelly Barr told me that she understands now why God told her that she had to help me. And she said that she finally understands that she had to help me with incest. Kelly Barr was explaining to me the difference between being chastised and what was the other thing compared to it? Very close to it, but not quite. I don't remember, but this was part with Kelly Barr conversation on the phone. I am not surprised after all to be chastened for speaking up for myself. This was a part of explanation. Kelly Barr was telling me a difference between chastening and something else. I don't remember what it was, but that there was a difference. There's something delaying Kelly Barr to post her videos. I don't know when it's going to get out. So there was this whole story with Marianne, you started to blow the wind in direction of a little bit perversion when you started with 12-inch Cosmic. Then after that there was the answer back from MacGyver with the 10-inch, and then after that there was René picking it up with Gene with his hybrid cucumber, and after that there was before or after there was MacGyver talking about he was wondering if I would put my 2-inch in, and it went on. Mind control is not just for MacGyver, it was put on everybody, and I know that Kelly Barr is going to make a follow-up with this because this is part of, we had a conversation, another 3 hours phone call that I had today with Kelly Barr. Kelly Barr confirmed to me on the phone that Voice of Gene was really testing a program to change his voice. So Kelly Barr also believes that Voice of Gene is using a program to change his voice. Why? Voice of Gene, we don't see his face much, except when I think it was Plunger that caught, was it Rodney or Plunger that caught the face on the camera? But usually Voice of Gene doesn't show the face, but then using a device to change his voice. I was having this phone call today with Kelly Barr, And she said to me that she thinks that when you thumbs down my videos is to signify that you watch it. So I don't know if that is true, but I'm waiting for her to make a 2-minute videos because she told me on the phone a lot today, and she was telling me that when she put out her long message with the torrent Elijah suffered from and the waves of discouragement, she told me that she had not seen your YouTube. She had not seen nothing from your YouTube, and when you put out the video with the waves and you said that it was you that was sending waves of discouragement, I thought for sure, even though Kelly Barr did not watch what you were doing, then she did publish the message that had to do with you're doing without knowing that you were doing what you do. It's in plain sight for everybody to see, but she had not looked at it. So there's that, but there's more. Because there is also when you said you gave me a candy. And you said don't break a tooth over it. Well, guess what? Kelly Barr, she did have a message from Tamara on her page, on her own YouTube of Kelly Barr. And she does address the candy shop. And once again, how is it that she got a new computer as I got rid of my new computer, and she's looking at her new computer and the programs that she now can use on her new computer that she couldn't on her old computer, and she's looking at it like she's saying it's like a candy shop, like being in a candy shop. So once again, Marianne, your message, it seems that it was linked to Kelly Barr, because just as much as the things with the waves of discouragement, Kelly Barr did not even know about that, and then she put out her message about it. And the thing with the candy, and me getting rid of my new computer, and she getting her new computer, and then she's saying it's like being in a candy shop, and you were saying to me that you were giving me a candy, but it was actually a message about her, and I don't think that you did on purpose, but it's because of the spirits. You know, spirits. There are spirits. And they do influence us, and they make us believe that we're doing this for, to convince us for our own reason to do. So as we are doing it, what we do, and thinking that we have a reason for to do, but there is the spirit also that got his reason for make us do it. But first, the spirit got to convince us to give us a reason for ourselves to do it. Latest video from Kelly Barr. I think it must have been supper, and that's why she could not make the 2-minute video, but she will do it. I think she will do it. She told me that she would do it. So Kelly Barr is right then. You have to say that Kelly Barr is right, because Kelly Barr told me on the phone that I'm the most innocent person you know. I'm the most innocent. So now people got a choice. Either they're going to say that I'm very predatory behavior, or that I'm innocent. Which one is it? Because Kelly Barr told me on the phone that I'm the most innocent person you know. And here you say Kelly is wrong. Well, Kelly is wrong about what? Because it seems that she's right, or maybe you lie to yourself, or maybe there's two different minds. So let's dive in. The video from Voice of Jane, he published right after the end of my conversation on the phone with Kelly Barr. So it's like I stopped the conversation with Kelly Barr for 4 hours, 30 minutes long. And then as soon as the conversation was finished, I saw that Voice of Gene had posted. And then he had just posted like at the same time, or almost at the same time. So when I began to watch his video and I heard him speak about things that I was talking about in the conversation over the phone with Kelly Barr, I knew once more that it was spirit working. And people taping our conversation, and after hearing, then they are moving accordingly. Now, I know that it's an 1 hour long video, and if the video was posted right after the end of my conversation with Kelly, then it means that they could not have done the video and publish it if it had to do with the conversation. Well, the conversation I had was 4 hours, 30 minutes. So 1 hour video. But anyway, even then, the spirits, okay, they know what we're doing and they are preparing in advance, and there's supernatural in it. So what's the video about? And I know that Kelly Barr can vouch for me 100% about this because I know she thinks the same way. She told me on the phone. I just had right now a very productive conversation on the phone with Kelly Barr. This is Kelly Barr. I had a very productive conversation, a little less than 3 hours this time. That's got to be the average of our phone conversation. It was another supposedly short conversation. But look, 3 things. The thing with Gene Revel with he heard broken finger. Now I think we figured it out. The thing about the cover of the books, and Gene Revel was doing what? He was pointing at this Bible which has the red cover. He said it was stupid of me to argue with the cover because, you know, the words are the same. Kelly Barr has a testimony coming about that. Notice right there that the red cover Bible is the one that has been used right over the altar displaying a dead sheep. You see how the books is right, like it's like the dead sheep representation reading from the Bible. It's like the sheep altar is being dead from reading the Bible with the red cover. I mean, this is crazy, okay? This is one of the scrolls from Kelly Barr. It's pretty simple. Okay, there's a lot of her scroll that she's sending me that she said are not finished. But that would be the altar representation of the dead sheep. How is it dead sheep? Because reading, it's like, the sheep is reading. The Bible is pointing in the direction like the sheep would be reading it. It's dead from reading from the Bible that has the red cover. When Gene was talking about, what is it? The problem with the red cover Bible. Well, I guess that there's going to be a problem after all, because that's a red covered Bible, and it's making the sheep appears to be dead as it is reading from it. So maybe there is something to it after all. And another thing about the Father. When Jesus is saying he's going to the Father, even though Jesus said that the Father is in him and he in the Father, and then later he's saying I have to go to the Father. How is it that he got to go to the Father if he's already the Father? It's because he's getting to know about himself. The scripture is saying that there is a man-child that is born to rule the nation with a rod of iron that would still be Jesus. And then the child grew. The thing about growing, you remember I said that everything that we can do, God can do. Kelly Barr, when she was speaking to me on the phone earlier today, we spoke a little bit about Brian Denlinger, and Kelly Barr said to me that there was a certain video she saw from Brian Denlinger, and she got a bad feeling about it. You see, Kelly, from this conversation we had together today, I was not having a deaf ear. You know that. Here I am now to show to you that you were right. I was also right to say that Brian Denlinger is a very, very good reference about the law of God, and he does not know anything about the mystery though, but he explained the law of God very well. But here in this instance, I say that he's at fault. And most probably, if it's true that he saw my videos, I can tell why he dismissed me completely. Because he could not see through. He could not see through my character. He just saw me playing with the ball, and that was it. He didn't understand me. He could not see through. He couldn't see my soul from the outward appearance of me. To live, but if I'm not alive, then I cannot receive what he prepared for me. So my goal is to see what Jesus prepared for me today and what he's prepared for me tomorrow, and for that I have to keep alive. I had this conversation for hours long yesterday with Kelly Barr, and she was just telling me, really, you got to keep alive. So she was kind of telling me, it's your decision if you want to leave life, but that she would rather encourage me to keep alive.
Just use one word to describe all three skills. The word we can use is dissociation.
So you got dissociation. You know, they get people to go through a lot of trauma, and so their brain, it's split. There's multiple personality disorder. They become sociopath, psychopath, and then they can become great leader.
Dissociation just means that your mind is part of your body. When you dissociate, what literally happens is your mind leaves your body so that you don't think that what's happening is happening to you. It's happening to someone else. It's like you become an observer.
There is me and there is him. I've been saying this for years. I've been saying this almost 12 years ago when I went to see my cousin Marianne. And now I see a video where it's explaining what's happening. You know how Peter is a leader of the apostle? So he had to be a freak show himself. Because it seems that to be a leader, you need to have all those different aspects. To be selfish, to be a scumbag, to be, what's the other one? Unpredictable.
in a movie. Okay? You're in the movie, but you're also watching the movie. And this is what leads to these three things. You leaves your body. When you dissociate, what literally happens is your mind leaves your body so that you don't think that what's happening is happening to you. It's happening to someone else. It's like you become an observer in a movie. Okay? You're in the movie, but you're also watching the movie. And this is what leads to these three things: unpredictability, high stress tolerance, and lack of empathy.
It's in the Bible. I don't know if I'm in the body or out of the body. It's in the Bible. It's written exactly like that. I know that Kelly Barr is keeping to herself a lot, and we just got to all wait together until she posts what she has to do, publish. And I've been waiting a long time, and everybody's waiting, and it cannot be forced, and I'm just... When Kelly Barr told me that she didn't want me to remove my videos, from the time that I had 0 video left, and now I'm already at almost 1,000, and it was because Kelly Barr telling me that she needed more time, and she needed my videos to be there, else they would not be there anymore. And I waited. I've been waiting for a long time now, so it got to be worth something. The Starlink connection and the Neuralink mind control, because I'm suffering from it every day. I didn't agree to be mind control with Neuralink, but maybe it's just by going on the computer and looking at the screen that it's like a contract without signature. Maybe as soon as you go on those screens, it's like you're making a contract with the devil to be, like MacGyver, hypnotized and being subject to mind control. And what was the last video from Voice of Jane? It was the final cut. I thought that it was a little bit of showing Tetris here, but I'm not sure. And then I commented, Marianne will like this. It really is the final cut. And then there are pairs of scissors and people in the chair to be having their hair to be cut. I was asking a question to Voice of Jane, and he decided never to answer back. I was asking Voice of Jane, how much did you pay for the wedding rings for your own mariage with your wife? Wedding rings are not of God, or are they? But how is it that over the finger of your wife you showed that there is a wedding ring? Was it a wedding ring that she received from another man, or was it from you? And if you gave her a ring, then why don't we discuss about the price of it? There's nothing wrong with the video that Kelly Barr put out. And I know that it's meant as an introduction. But after looking at it, I know it's a test because when Kelly Barr decided to do this, she was doing it out of innocency. But I know it's a test because of the effect and the way that it's going to be received by someone that doesn't have the same mindset or the same spirit. Look, I'm going to explain clearly. The video could be either representative of Kelly Barr herself. Kelly Barr is been separating to the noise and not making friends or a ton of videos, but rather being in silence with Jesus alone and, doing your thing and being with Jesus in silence. And it could be representative of how she's living her life and to her own situation. But when this video is put out, yes, it's manifestation of how she has her own mindset and how she is living her life and how she's doing. So that's one thing. This was the last thing I was expecting. The last thing I was expecting. It's not her fault. It's a test. It's a test. They are trying to drive me crazy. Everybody is trying to drive me crazy. Because they all know that Kelly Barr, in her innocency, she cannot measure the wickedness of my cousin Marianne. But me knowing her, Marianne, and how wicked she is, she might look at it and think that it's like an approval to her. Like approving what she's doing. Approving leaving without solving. Leaving without any sign of repentance. Because the message is it's this. How it can be received by someone so evil is not the same as the intention when it's given by someone that is holy. This is the point I'm trying to make here. When you speak to the devil, I just had another of those conversation on the phone with Kelly Barr, almost 5 hours, and I'm not allowed to talk much about what we spoken about this time, but it was very, very interesting. I received an order during our conversation, and it was from Kelly Barr, but it was not directly herself that was giving the order, the command. The Holy Spirit, through Kelly Barr, was commanding me of something. So we're going to see if that comes to pass, because if it was really, and I think it is, a command through Kelly Barr by the Holy Spirit, then surely it's going to come to pass. In the conversation on the phone, almost 5 hours conversation that I had with Kelly Barr yesterday, she was telling me that there was a man that she was describing. There was not one person that would get near that other guy, because, that guy, no one would get near him, because he was cursing so much. He was vulgar. Yesterday, during my almost 5-hour conversation I had with Barr, within the conversation, she was telling me about a story where she was in a car driving, and there were people also in cars on the road trying to cause her to hit an animal. Message sent to Marianne, and it says, every single person is back, even Jean Abednego. Was sure we really ended up on one of these shows. I thought for sure Carver was getting a bigger crowd to convince to believe more. And then I linked the video that Jean Abednego had been posting, and even though I'm not subscribed, the spirit letting me know. That was also another subject of our conversation with this almost 5 hours latest phone call I had with Barr on the phone, and she was talking to me about Kennedy, and she was telling me about how anyway, okay, I said to her that I would not repeat everything that we spoke about on the phone, but just want to tell everybody that everything we did speak on the phone manifest and manifest and manifest again. Kelly Barr once told me on the phone, one of those phone calls, she told me that she perceived that Jonathan Clegg felt like left on the side. You know how it was all about Jonathan Clegg all the time? He was happy about it. That was one of the reasons also why we had to slow it down a bit. Because it's like, if we were to speak all the time about Lucifer, even if it would be for to expose Lucifer of all his wrongdoings, it would still be like worshiping him, because it would be only about him. And when it's only about one, then it's the equivalent of worship, even if it is to expose. When the only thing that you think about all the time, well, you can say, what? That's pretty much your God. But still, we had to speak a lot about him, because it was important to make sure that when the times comes that his prophecy happened, then people would have something to look back at, to be reassured that the false prophet also can make miracles, and to not hearken unto his voice, and to worship other gods that we have not a covenant with. Who are you going to believe? It is a competition. There was a competition when Elijah said to the 850 false prophets of Baal and of the groups, here's what you do, here's what I'm going to do. And then after that, who's winning? Then people are going to be on his side. And then Elijah won the competition and they were on his side. And even though they were more than him, then after that, him and all the people behind him and for his God, then were much more than the 850 that were cutting themselves as the way that they do. So, Jonathan Clegg removed the video. It was 554, very close to 555. It's important. They wanted to match a certain date. The problem with the apologists is that they deny all the things that God is doing is not just politically correct. The apologists are trying to make God politically correct, and they do not recognize that God is God Almighty. He does as He's pleased, and He's justified because of all of His doing. Is justifying Him. You know how Elijah was fighting against 850 false prophets? They are on YouTube. 850 false prophets that Elijah fought in the past, they are having YouTube channels. The Voice of Genie, he seems to be kind of vacation or something. Just wait for Kelly Barr when she's going to come up with her videos. There is much more people, okay, that are on the side of Marianne right now, and always been. It's like Kelly Barr said, if I would have deleted all my videos, then they would have buried me alive. Kelly Barr is describing this as sitting at the table of fools. When you agree that you yourself eat and digest human fecal matter and wash it down with human urine, you are nothing but pure evil. But it means it's because you don't know me. Because I was talking about a parable again, in the spiritual. Sitting at the table of the fools and playing with the shit. There was Kelly Barr being asked. Kelly Barr was asked by her friend, why are you sitting at tables of fools? And of course, you got all of this happening here right now about the people acting like they are at the school, children school, the schoolyard, and the quarrel at the, in the schoolyard, children foolishly quarreling. That's how it looks like right now on my page. And everybody's that are silent about this are the people that are not the type of quarreling schoolyard, but all the people that are making a wide mouth, or people that are children's schoolyard quarreling. And Kelly Barr was having a statement made that her friend was asking her, what are you doing sitting at the table of fools? So Kelly Barr distanced herself to prepare work that is holy, and she does not bother much about participating in this school children fights. Well, because Jesus also was accused and asked, why is it that you are sitting at the table of sinners? So that would be the schoolyard here, okay? The children's schoolyard quarreling. This is what's happening right now. Okay, I'm reviewing comments on my Gaver, Plunger. Sometimes there's a little bit of video popping out from Gene Revel, and he's presenting himself also participant to that children's schoolyard foolishness. So when he went and followed with Marianne starting this with the inches, how many inches to be satisfied. When Kelly Barr was told by her friend, why are you sitting with fools? And then I had conversation with Kelly Barr on the phone, and she was telling me how, you're all a bunch of kids. She has to deal with kids over here. Elisha, and he went up from thence unto Bethel, and as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city, and mocked him, and said unto him, go up, do bald head, go up, do bald head. And he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood and bare 40 and 2 children of them. Kelly Barr, looking at what's happening over here with all of you, it's childish. Very childish. Elisha, and there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood and bare 40 and 2 children of them, because Elisha was having to deal with children. Dealing with children. And 50 men of the sons of the prophets went and stood to view afar off, and they stood by Jordan, and Elijah took his mantle and wrapped it together and smote the waters, and they were divided hither and thither, so that they too went over on dry ground. And that's also the reason why Elijah was saying to Elisha, you don't have to follow me over this city, because it's just a bunch of children. Furthermore, why do you sit with fools? But she is Elisha. And it came to pass, as Jesus sat at meat in the house, behold, many publicans and sinners came and sat down with him and his disciples. You see? More children. And as Jesus sat at meat in his house, in his own house, many publicans and sinners sat also together with Jesus and his disciples, for there were many, and they followed him. Many publicans and sinners sat also together with Jesus. Children. Children. You know, childish man.